This is Spanish for Personal and Public Identity, Vocab 101 through 105. All right, let's look at risk. Everybody say riesgo. Riesgo. Let's say you and your friends have built a ramp and you're going to take turns jumping over it with a motorcycle. Nothing good happens when a couple guys build a ramp, but I digress. And you turn to your friend and say, hey, there might be some risk involved in driving your motorcycle over this homemade ramp that we just put together. And he says, I know it is going to be a risk, but I'm going to go for it. I, see the letter I, know it is going to be a risk, but I'm going to go for it. Riesgos, risk. Now, personal tragedy is tragedia personal. Now look at the word personal. It ends in an L. It's what I call a lizard word. Everyone say lizard. Lizard. In Spanish, if a word ends in L, Z, R, or D, the very last vowel gets stressed. In English, we don't know which vowel to stress. Is it personal, is it personal, or is it personnel? But in Spanish, you know that if it ends in a lizard, L, Z, R, or D, the very last vowel gets stressed. It's personal. I got a clip. If you're confused by that, just type in lizard. Now, Spanish and English are backwards. We say pretty girl, they say girl pretty. We say tall man, they say man tall. We say personal tragedy, they say tragedy personal. Notice, tragedy ends in Y. A lot of times in English, if a word ends in Y, in Spanish it ends in IA. Everybody say day. Day turns into dia. Now say Mary. Mary ends in Maria. So that's pretty easy. Now, auto means self. Like if you write an autobiography, you write a biography about yourself. So we say self-esteem, they say autoestima. Literally, self-esteem. Just think about an autobiography. Okay? Now, to please is complacer. Let's say you're not a very religious person, and your friends all know that, but every time your grandmother or mom comes to town, you go to mosque or church or synagogue with them, and your friend says to you, why do you go to that place if you're not religious? And you say, well, when my mom or grandma comes to town, I go to that place to please them. So when my mom comes to town, I go to the mosque or the synagogue with her. So I come to this place when my mom comes to town to please her. Complacer is to please. Now, género can mean two things. It can mean a type of music or literature like genre, and it can also mean gender. Okay, like what genre of music do you like? What genre of literature do you like? So género means type or gender. Either one is fine. All right, time for a post quiz. I'm going to cover up the Spanish. Take a few seconds, look at the English and either say the Spanish equivalents out loud or write them down on a piece of paper to make sure you know them. This has been Spanish for PPI 101 to 105.